Hey folks, it's Josh with Big Daddy Unlimited, and in this week's range breakdown, we took a submitted question from one of our guys here at Big Daddy Unlimited to start us off with this series, and he wanted to know the differences between different lengths of barrels and why one would be better for a specific application than another. So we got a few rifles here. We got one 10-inch barreled, one 13.7, and a couple 16-inch barrels to go over. There are lots of different lengths ranging from, 4.5-inch barrels to 24-inch barrels on AR-15s specifically. But for the most part, the usual ones that you're going to see, at least for something that you just pick up for your first rifle, or kind of like the almost use it for multiple purposes type length, is going to be 16 inches. And then more specialized into more specific applications like the 14.5s all the way down to the 11.5s. And then you got 10 inches and a little bit lower for SBRs, pistols, or PDWs. And all of them do something different for you. And performance-wise, they're going to vary because of the length of barrel. So if you're looking for something that can shoot longer distance, the longer the barrel, the better, because when you have a longer barrel, you have more time for the gas to dwell inside the barrel, but also have enough time to push that projectile out as hard and fast as possible. So you get a lot more stabilization because it's going faster and it has a little bit more twist to it. When you get to lower barrel lengths, you lose a little bit of that, but you gain mobility, you gain a couple other different things, specifically like in the middle area. But for the most part, they all have their jobs. So if I wanted an all-purpose sporting rifle, I'd go with a 16-inch or something around that line. Maybe a 14.5 pin and welded. Gives me enough barrel length to do what I want all the way to 500-600 yards for accuracy-wise, but also still short enough to do some kind of CQB style shooting. Not the most ideal, but still can be used. 18 inches to anything longer, that's when you're getting into more of like the specialized accuracy shooting that you would want to do. But for the like DMRs, I guess you can put them in that category for designated marksmanship rifles. And then we go down to the middle. The middle is kind of my favorite area because there's a lot of potential in these size barrels: 14.5, 13.7, 12, and 11.5. They're just long enough to get you that much more velocity for shooting longer than a 10.5-inch barrel would be able to do. And specifically this one, I got a 13.7 pin and welded barrel for my competition rifle, and it does everything I want. I got a low variable power optic and a red dot, so that way I can shoot far but also still be able to transition to closer targets. And this is my favorite length for that purpose because 13.7 gives me just enough to be able to be accurate up to 500 yards, but also short enough to where the gun's a lot easier to transition. It's a lot more capable for manipulations wise. So it's not too big, not too small. And then we get down to the SBR pistol sizes and PDW sizes. And these really shine for like close quarter combat, but also like a home defense gun, car gun, and all that stuff, because a lot of these rifle manufacturers that don't make AR-15s specifically, but have like a self-capturing recoil system here, they allow you to fold the stock and fit it into backpacks like some Vertex bags that we carry. And you could also get a Law Tactical folder for AR-15s that pretty much do the exact same, but this gives you kind of the size to where if you wanted to stick a silencer on, you're still not too long of a gun. And these things are so much easier to maneuver, throw around, sling, and all that stuff. So this would be good for something that you would want to use for those purposes. So like I said, all these length of barrels are going to matter depending on what you want to use it for. I wouldn't buy a gun, especially a rifle, for like multiple uses, unless that's really like the only, like the budget conscious people. If they want to keep it around about that, like I want a rifle to do almost everything, then you would go with something like a 14.5, 13.7 pin and weld. So that way you still have overall length, shortness capability, but also still being able to shoot further than a 10.5-inch barrel. But buy the barrel length for a specific job. It really does help for that purpose, because when you specialize a gun to do something very specific, the gun will outperform your expectations all the time. So buy what you need it for. But like I said, if you can't and you need to buy just one rifle, get something somewhere in the middle. I wouldn't go 16 inches. I would go a little bit shorter myself. And just know that as you get shorter, you're going to lose a little bit of accuracy and velocity, and they're going to get louder. So if you're not sticking a silencer on, just know that the shorter you go, the more gas expansion that you have at the muzzle, and then that equals sound. So you're going to get this loud dragon's breath freaking bang every time you shoot, the shorter you go. When you get longer, it also helps with recoil to have a longer barrel, longer gas system, because the gas is able to kind of like burn itself off through the barrel and through the gas system before it reaches a muzzle to not kick the gun back as much. So as you get shorter, you're going to get a little bit more recoil out of the guns. You're going to feel a little bit more, especially in your shoulder. It's not too bad. It's definitely noticeable when you go from an 18-inch barrel all the way to a 10-inch. So yeah, pick a barrel length for a specific job that you want to be able to build it for, and try not to get pigeonholed into one size. Try different sizes, see what works better for that particular purpose. And if you have any other questions about any other length of barrels or something that we didn't cover in the video, feel free to drop a comment down below, like and subscribe, and we shall see you next time.